Hi, Walter. Nice to have you here. How are you?
Hi, everyone. Really nice to meet you and really good to see you here again. How's it going?
I'm very good. Thank you. Thank you. Like I said, we only have about, let's say, 40 minutes, not 38 hours, to unpack the EU AI Act. Would it be enough, you think?
I think like in 40 minutes, we can absolutely cover the basics and create a foundational understanding of what piece of legislation we're dealing here, actually. When it comes to, I think, fully unpacking it, that takes a little bit longer than 38 hours, I would say. But we're here today, and I look forward to covering this topic in as much detail as we can.
Great. As an expert, as an AI addict, I must say, have you been following this whole trajectory to this AI Act and also this 38 hours of negotiation? Were you involved? Were you seeing it?
Yeah, I've been following it extensively over the past few years, and it's been a bit of an emotional roller coaster, let's say. When we started out with sort of like the conversation about an EU AI Act, I mean, that was, I think, in long before the actual launch of sort of like the generative AI tools such as ChatGPT. So we actually focused on a very different kind of understanding of artificial intelligence. And so some have argued that this used to be more of an approach towards products, but since there has been the launch of these kinds of tools that have really transformed our understanding of the possibilities of what's actually out there, that meant as well that the EU AI needed some updating as well. And so whilst we were there just about to finish it up, updating needed to happen. And I just remember in the final 38 hours, I mean, I looked at my Twitter feed and the amount of information that was coming out from the trilogue was just incredible. But I'm glad that now we made it to the point where we are right now.
Great, great. Just to make sure that everybody is on the same page, can you briefly explain what the EU AI Act actually is? What are the main, let's say, pillars or components?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we think about the EU AI Act, let's view it as the world's first comprehensive regulation that seeks to regulate how AI can be used in European markets and in the European bloc. At its heart, there is basically four pillars that this EU AI Act has, and that basically creates four risk buckets of where different kinds of AI applications can fall. So we have on the lowest bottom, like applications that have basically a very low risk, which will face basically almost no regulatory action. There is medium risk applications, there is high risk applications, and then there's so-called prohibited risks at the very top. So essentially what the EU AI Act does is that it looks at the AI ecosystem in Europe, it categorizes it into these four buckets, and based on that, different kinds of companies that develop tools will face various kinds of regulatory actions. Happy to go into more detail about each kind of risk buckets, but that's essentially what the EU AI Act is. So think about four categories of risk and the resulting regulation this has on products.
Yeah, and you already said it a bit. You know, this usually legislation in the EU takes, let's say, years, 10 years, 5 to 10, perhaps 15 years, especially in this particular topic. I can imagine that it was the 9th of December in 2023, but I can imagine that it was already on the 10th of December, kind of lagging behind, right? How does this involvement came in the end through this final EU Act? Because, like you said, it's a topic with so fast developments and so fast changes as well.
Yeah, and I think that's precisely why the approach of the European Union is so broad.